Hello, happy Tuesday, my friends. Welcome to Behind the Layers. I am Kara Christensen. I am your host. I am a professional fitness, health, and beauty guru, and I'm here to share my knowledge with you guys. So, thank you so much for joining the stream. Behind the Layers is a podcast that is built around exposing the truths and the myths about the health, fitness, and beauty industry. And today we are going to be talking about feast or famine. I don't know if you guys know anything about that, but I have heard a lot about it lately, and I am in the dark on this. I have not heard of it before. So if you are like me, then we are going to dive in that together and figure out what is this feast or famine. Um, they call it a feast or famine cycle. I'm not going to call it a diet because diet is a word that is loosely associated with something that's like a yo-yo diet, like going up and down with a diet is that's not what we're doing. We're doing lifestyle changes here, small feats to get those big rewards. Happy Tuesday, you guys. Hey, Bo, nice to see you here. Thank you. Um, it's a little blurry now. It shouldn't be blurry now since I have come on full screen. So feast or famine, from what I understand, is something that is going back to our ancestors. So it's a time when we didn't have readily available food, and our bodies were built to function like that in a feast or a famine type of way. So this became a big craze in the last few years, but it's just surfacing for me, and I'm trying to figure out, what is this feast or famine? Does it work? Is it something to replace or work in conjunction with fasting, intermittent fasting, the things like that um, that have had so much success. So I'm here to happy Tuesday. I'm here to kind of open up that can of worms and see if that's something we want to dive into, we want to give it a go, or maybe we just say no. So I am found this lady. There's a lot of information out there, but I wanted to find someone that I really resonated with in her message. And I found this lady, and she seems to be very knowledgeable and somebody that I kind of resonate with the whole embodiment of your life and your life cycle. So, and living your best life from the inside out. So, this doctor explains the whole feast or famine, or feast and famine. I'm not quite sure exactly how to say it. Feast or famine cycle, which is how our bodies were supposed to be designed to operate. And this is the eating cycle, I guess, for you. Same here on YouTube. It's blurry. Interesting. It's not blurry on my side. Thank you for letting me know. Hopefully that will change up. Let me do this. Okay. How's better? So this feast famine cycle, what I was saying is supposed to be something that is how our body both best operates. So it's how we're in our best light. It's how we're in our best feeling, our best, our most, the biggest and vibrant vibrations is being in the feast and famine cycle. What is the feast and famine cycle? I'm not quite sure, but we're going to find out today. This doctor explains it all, and she talks about how it correlates with our ancestors and how our bodies were designed to operate in its best light. So we're going to find this out together. We're going to see if it's something that we're going to give it a go or stick to our intermittent fasting, because we know centuries, decades, however, I mean, so long of studies going back to the intermittent fasting cycle, which almost kind of sounds like the same ish, because when you're intermittent fasting, you're going long hours of your day without eating, so your body can process the food as it's supposed to, and then you eat. So I'm not sure the difference in the intermittent fasting and the feast and famine cycle, so we're going to find that out today. So stay tuned. Here we go. Going over here, and I'm gonna go ahead and start this video. And this doctor's name is Dr. C.J. Benkert. Benkert, I think I said it properly.
And the reason
All
that
right, here
I'm
we go.
here today, and the reason that you are here today, is because our ancestors were metabolically flexible, and they were able to feast and famine. They were able to store fat and burn fat. And we did that for millions of years until
Is that too loud?
about 60, 70 years ago. Just a teeny tiny little slice of human history.
Okay, let's fast forward it. Okay,
There
here we
is
go.
a purpose under heaven, a season, diet, variation, feast, famine, good, bad. This is Dr. C.J. Benkert with Pura Vida Wellness, continuing to bring you my 12 core concepts to living your purest, healthiest, most
Oh, is that
vibrant,
video too loud?
amazing life in body, mind, heart, and spirit. That's what I'm up to. That's what I'm passionate about. If you're listening to me, that means you
Too
resonate
soft.
with that
Thank you.
message and you also want to live your purest,
I know, she's
healthiest,
like
most
whispering.
amazing life, we're here to have fun. We're here to experience
Amen,
joy.
sister.
If you're not having fun, if you're not experiencing joy, then you're not on the right path. Our emotions tell us whether we're living in alignment with our values or not. If you're frustrated, if you're angry, if you're resentful, if you're depressed, it's because you're not living in alignment with your values. When you live in alignment with your values,
Oh, sorry.
love to do, and for all of us
That's
it's
just as
different
loud as it
things,
goes.
but just to narrow it down, when you're in love, when you're in peace, when you're treating yourself kindly and others kindly, when you're doing what's best for all, not just for you, you feel good. And when you feel good, you're happy and you're on the right path. So this is the beginning of our fourth core concept. This is our fourth week of training. I'm covering all 12 core concepts to living your best, purest life. This week we will be covering in detail diet variation. Today's topic in the next 10 minutes will be all about feast and famine. I originally learned this term from Dr. Daniel Pompa. I'm going to pull some information from his book today. I already posted the name
Dr.
of his book
Daniel
on my Facebook page.
Pompa.
If you're
Let me look
watching
him
this
up.
on our YouTube channel, just message me and I'll give you the name of the book. I highly recommend it. It's called Beyond Fasting by Dr. Daniel Pompa,
Hmm.
one of my main mentors for the last 10 years. If you're listening on the podcast, same
Beyond
thing. It's called
fasting.
Beyond Fasting, and he goes
Dr.
into
Pompa
detail different types of fasts. So he taught me,
book.
and the group of doctors that he works with taught him, and his family members taught him that it's all about diet variation. So today we're going to talk about feast famine.
Okay, let's get
Tomorrow we're
to
going to go into different types of
it. Mercy
food
me.
and eating from the rainbow. The third lesson on this fourth concept of diet variation will be
Eating
on the
from the rainbow.
511 weekly variation cycle.
Eating
The
from the
fourth lesson
rainbow.
will be talking about hormone building foods and why that's so important and when you should be eating
All right,
hormone building
let me
foods.
help her get to
Lesson
it.
5, time to feast, and there's a time to famine.
There we go.
Our
There we go.
DNA is locked in with that message. The only reason that you are hearing me or watching me right now is because your ancestors were really good at feasting and famining. Is that a word, famining?
It
Feast and famine.
is
Eating
today.
lots of food when there was lots of food around and gaining fat, storing fat. That's okay because there was lots of times when there was no food, and the reason they survived and the reason that I'm here today and the reason that you are here today is because our ancestors were metabolically flexible and they were able to feast and famine. They were able to store fat and burn fat.
Hmm.
And we did that for millions of years until about 60, 70 years ago, just a teeny tiny little slice of human history. Like if you
Human.
were to look at all of human history as a yearly calendar, the whole human history, whatever your beliefs are, billions of years, millions of years, whatever your beliefs are, all of human history on one calendar, the last day would be us eating agricultural food, and the last minute would be processed sugar, high fructose corn syrup. All of the rest of human history, we were eating real, pure God food that we
Hmm.
would find in nature, hunting buffalo, eating berries, finding herbs and fruits. We were
Okay.
eating the food that was provided to us
Come
by
on
the
back. How
creator
long?
of this planet
What's
that
the
also
TAM?
created our bodies. But what happened 50, 60 years ago, right around the time I was born, we now have food on every corner, fast food, grocery stores. We can now, if we want to, eat every minute of the day. And
Hmm.
most of us do eat most minutes of the day. But our bodies weren't designed to eat, eat, feast, feast, feast. It's all about balance. Life is all about balance, right? There's beauty in the variety of life, pain and loss, joy and pleasure and love. It's all about balance. So our bodies were designed to store fat when there's lots of food around, feast, and to burn fat when there's no food around, famine, so that we could survive. But now we're just eating. We have food available to us all the time. It's never happened before, ever in the history of of this planet, of human race. We've never had access to food like we have access to food now. So we want to do both. We don't want to just do keto or paleo or vegetarian or vegan or the raw food diet or the super carb diet or the T-Rex diet, like the carnivore diet. No
T-Rex.
one diet is good. So you might say, well, when I switched over to being a vegetarian, oh my gosh, I felt so good. Everything was just so much better, my energy. Yeah, for a little while. Because anytime you change, that allows the body to adapt. And that's the name of the game, folks. It's adaptation. The magic is in the adaptation, the changing, the
Hmm.
feast and the famine.
Hmm.
That's where the magic lies.
I could get behind
So
that.
no one diet is right.
Hmm.
Now, I would say that for the most part, low.
So what I'm gathering from those first few words um, is that you just need to keep switching it up. That's how I'm gathering that. Like if you want to do your first week, you are in the vegetative state. The second week, you're introducing meat a couple days. The third day, but at the whole time, I feel like you should stay in intermittent fasting. I feel like eating in the window is the best for your body, regardless, all the way around. But I feel like what she's saying, I don't know. What do you think? I feel like she's saying if you just keep switching it up, like what I do with my workouts with my clients is metabolic manipulation. So it's always switching it up, keeping those muscles. So we're not coming in doing the same thing all the time. We're keeping them tricked up. We're keeping the system tricked up. You're keeping the like almost kind of like high intensity interval training. That's what it is. It's metabolic manipulation. You're manipulating your metabolism instead of just saying, oh, I'm going to get on here and I'm going to run at a 6.5 for, 6 miles or whatever. Your body is so quick to adapt. You're not going to burn as many calories as if you do a 20-minute high intensity interval training where you're switching things up every 30 seconds, taking a little 20-second rest, and then going back in it. Like, that's just the best way to get your heart rate up and down and manipulate the system. So what she's saying is keeping it constantly switched up. Don't just stick to the same thing. If you're an OMADer, don't just do OMAD every single day at the same time. Your body's going to get used to it, and then you're going to start packing on pounds if you go outside that at all. But if you keep it switched up, it's going to keep in that revved up burning fuel mode, so your engine stays in a space where it's just constantly wanting to keep up with the pace. Like they don't know your body doesn't know what's coming. It doesn't know what you're going to have today or what you're not. Better keep it revved, better keep it going so it's ready for anything, rather than like, okay, I'm going dormant because I know I'm going to get that 6 o'clock meal, I'm just going to be active during that, and then you're, high resolution state that it can just keep burning that fat for you and being an optimal source of energy. Yes, OMAD is good, but the next day, maybe if you want to stick to OMAD, eat at a different time or have a snack that day. Have a healthy little snack and then have your OMAD meal. Something to keep it changing up. Don't keep it the same all the time. And that's kind of what I'm gathering from her right now.
Low carb, intermittent fasting, being in ketosis, most of the time has been shown via studies to be the healthiest, to allow you to live the longest, and to prevent diseases from occurring like cancer, Alzheimer's, etc. But do we want to be keto, low carb, in ketosis all the time? No, no, we don't. And that's why this is one of my core concepts to living your purest, healthiest life. You have to have diet variation. This is something that I scream from the mountaintops with my clients, because a lot of my program is helping diabetics get off of meds, fasting mimicking, intermittent fasting, ketosis. I have to.
And that's why I resonated with her, is helping your diabetic clients getting off of meds. I have done it with clients before. I have seen the success if you stick to the program, but you have to stick to a regime. You can't just be like, oh, well, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing and then expect the result to be different. I think that, there you go. Is that better? Sorry, Bo is telling me that I'm blurry to you guys. I apologize. Yes, my chair is zebra striped, but the I don't want to be blurry. That's for sure. Am I still blurry? Thank you for checking in on that for me. But yeah, you definitely, the message of any dietitian or nutritionist or trainer should want to be to work with your clients to get them healthier, and healthier means get them off of these things that are killing their organs. They're shutting them down, they're drying them out, like giving you extra problems inside that you need another prescription drug to counterbalance the other one that you're on, when really your body can heal it if you just stick to the program of intermittent fasting, watching what you eat. I mean, it's not, the intermittent fasting is the biggest part. I mean, yes, the food that you put in your mouth is huge, but if you're not even giving your body enough time to process those foods that you're putting into, then you're doubling down. You're doubling down on bad health. But what she's saying is she likes to get her clients off of, and these are the ways to get yourself off of those bad medicines for you, that even for diabetics that are pre-diabetic or already on the diabetic medicine. These are this is your bread and butter, to say the least.
Variation.
Actually, not
This is something that I
the bread
scream
part
from the
again.
mountaintops with my clients, because a lot of my program is helping diabetics get off of meds, fasting mimicking, intermittent fasting, ketosis. I have to shout I have to shout at the top of the mountaintops. Eat carbs sometimes. Do some hormone building days. Don't be so strict with your ketosis. Because, like Daniel Pompa and like myself, if you stay in ketosis all the time, the body's going to go into starvation mode. We don't want that.
Mm.
We want diet variation. So, I took a few
Ooh, don't
little
want to do
notes that I
that.
wanted to share with you. And I posted this on my Facebook page, and it's from Dr. Pompa's books. Reasons to vary your diet. Here
Hmm.
are some reasons why you might want to listen to what I'm saying, take action on what I'm saying, And if you've been really strict, if you're listening to me and you're just super strict about your diet and you're not seeing the results or you've plateaued, I have lots of clients that come to see me that are eating keto, that are organic, fasting, detoxing, all this stuff, but they're like, I'm stuck. You're stuck because we have to vary our diet. We have to keep our bodies metabolically flexible, and we have to make sure that we are allowing our bodies to change and to adapt, because it's adaptation which creates a strong, resilient body. Okay, so here are 8 reasons that you should vary your diet. Number 1, you're not losing weight. You've plateaued. Number 2, to prevent cancer and other age-related diseases. According to studies, diet variation is excellent at that. Number 3, if you want to live a longer, healthier life, diet variation. Number 4, you're not able to become fat adaptive. In other words, it's really hard for you to get into ketosis. You've heard about this keto. You have a good friend that went on keto and lost all this weight. And so you're like, oh, well, I'm going to try it. And then you try it and you just can't get into ketosis. And you're following it exactly. That's the third reason, or the fourth reason why you should vary your diet. Number 5, no energy in ketosis. You're in ketosis, but you feel like crap. Number 6, hormone condition. So if you have a hormone condition, especially thyroid, adrenal issue, or diabetes, diet variation, because we want the body to be adaptable, to be very strong in its adaptation mechanisms, which will in turn create maximum hormone optimization. And that's what we want for hormone conditions. Number 7, we want to be varying our diet if you want to gain muscle. And number 8, if you're losing muscle but getting thinner but you're skinny fat. So you're losing muscle, you're losing weight, but your body fat is increasing. So those are reasons to vary your diet. So feast, there's 2 processes or systems in the body, or cascades. We have mTOR and we have autophagy. We have, in fact, I have a page in Dr. Pompa's book. So we have mTOR, autophagy. What are the things? So we have mTOR, which is building, anabolic, right? So like bodybuilders know this concept. They're going to eat high levels of protein, carbs.
So this one is important to listen to this part because a lot of doctors talk about this mTOR process for your body. So um, the feast and famine clearly has something to do with this process. So I'm not 100% sure on it. So let's just watch it together. But this is a point I feel like you definitely should pay attention to what she's saying. A lot of doctors talk about this right here.
Build.
Let me back it up just a little bit.
Page in Dr. Pompa's book. So we have mTOR, autophagy. What are the things? So we have mTOR, which is building, anabolic, right? So like bodybuilders know this concept. They're going to eat high levels of protein, carbs, build, grow. And that's okay for a little while, but we don't want to be an mTOR building and growing all the time, because that can turn into cancer. Cancer is mTOR growth pathways, grow. We want to fluctuate. So the things that happen or create
Interesting.
mTOR, or building, which we do want sometimes, anabolic, cell replicating mTOR, feasting will allow mTOR pathways to take hold and to allow you to build and grow. Increased calories will turn on mTOR, allowing you to build and grow. And there's a time, right? There's a time for every purpose under heaven. High carbs, like 100 to 200 grams a day, will turn on mTOR. So that's
Woo.
the anabolic, that's the building up. But we also need a nice balance of breaking down. Right? There's a time to reap and there's a time to soar. So there's a time to hug and there's a time to refrain from hugging. There's a time to love and there's a time to hate. So the
Time.
autophagy
There's a time to hate.
metabolism is
No.
turned on, which is the catabolic, right? That's the breaking down, that's the cellular cleaning of debris, of cancer cells, of worn out organelles. So, what turns on autophagy? That beautiful balance between feast and famine. Autophagy is turned on by fasting, either daily or extended. So, daily would be like intermittent fasting. That's what we do in our program for a big part of the time is that
Mm-hmm.
6 to 8 hour eating window. Restricted calories, so like a fasting mimicking or a partial fast. So, but my Pura Vida transformation system, the first 40 days is a fasting mimicking state. We get you into autophagy by mimicking a fast, by limiting calories and fat, so that your body will do all the same things that it would normally do in a water fasting mode, but you still get to eat lunch, dinner, protein, unlimited vegetables, and a certain amount of fruits, right? The other thing that turns on
Hmm.
autophagy is low carb, keto, which is a big part of what I teach, but it's not everything. So, me now, 7 years ago, I was close to 200 pounds. I was in my late 50s, early 60s metabolically. I was depressed. I had no
Hmm.
energy. I took myself through the different stages, experimenting.
You see how she said she was in her late 50s, early 60s metabolically? So when you're eating bad and you have so much damage and you've got so much fat around your organs, your visceral fat, and your body's not operating as it should, even if you're in your 40s, your body can be acting as if or running as if it's in its late 50s, early 60s. Same goes for if you're in your 50s or your 60s, your body could be running like it's in its 80s, 90s because you're not giving it the proper fuel. You got too much visceral fat around your organs, you got too much inflammation, you got too much. So to reel it all in is the only way out of that cycle. You have to reel it in. You got to reel it all in. That's the only way out of that cycle. I mean, otherwise, you just are aging yourself beyond repair, and then you're going to be on a dire state that your body is going to take so long to recover from. It's possible to recover at those later stages in your life, of course, just by reeling it in. Like she's saying, she had late 50s, early 60s in her body, like how her body was running, how her body was reading, but she was just in her early 50s. So losing all that weight, turning it turning it around helps lose the weight. But really, you're not just doing it to lose the weight, you're doing it to lessen the inflammation. You're doing it to get into autophagy, which gets rid of all those bad cells that your body already has, the cancerous cells, the cells that are damaged, feeding it to the good cells, strengthening your army, as I like to say it to my kids. You're taking your body and you're just giving it a deep clean, like a spring clean, like a once over. That's where you want your space to be. It's not all about the losing the weight part is obviously icing on the cake. It's the bonus, but really what you're doing is so much bigger and greater and deeper than that. And that's where you want your mindset to be is it's not just another weight loss thing. It's something that you are doing to absolutely 100% give yourself the best life you can live, from energy to sleep to focus to, I mean, you name it. This is like the all natural Botox of our existence is getting into the autophagy state, which happens at 17 hours of fasting, and allowing your body to regenerate new cells, new elastin, new collagen, all of the things that your body needs to look youthful and glowy. That's the state that you want to go in for that. But then the rest of it is just all, rainbows and butterflies going on inside. It's such a beautiful gift to give yourself, and it is free to do, and it is actually probably saving you money because you're eating less food. So let's continue.
On my own body so that I could
Let me back it up a little bit.
finally
I think she said she
60s
was 200 pounds.
metabolically. I was depressed. I had no energy. I took myself through the different stages, experimenting on my own body so that I could finally break free from this plateau. And I did this 40 days of fasting mimicking, eating 2 meals a day. And within 6 months to a year of going in and out of fasting mimicking and high healthy fats, diet variation, I am now in my 20s metabolically. Immediately in the first 40 days of
Woo! Y'all heard that? Okay. So she's in her 20s now metabolically, meaning her body is operating in such a way that it is like she is a 20-year-old again, with energy and her focus and her clarity and her mood and her hormones balanced. In your 50s, you can be in your 20s. Like, talk about fountain of youth. All from, eating in a way that is our bodies are designed to do, feast and famine and intermittent fasting, something that is allowing your body to process everything that you've already got before you continue to keep putting more in, not just keep like Pac-Man and gobbling it all up. It's not the goal. That's not, we gotta get out of the Pac-Man life and get on to the intermittent
me
fasting.
going through the first round of my program, I went from being in my early 60s metabolically down to 35 in 40 days. That's how powerful innate intelligence is
In
within you.
40
So,
days,
what else turns on autophagy?
in 40 days, you can get from being in your 60s to being in your 30s. Right now, she says metabolically, she's in her 20s. So when they talk about feast and famine or intermittent fasting, eating ketogenic, paleo diets, she's not saying stop any of the things that you're doing if it's paleo, if it's vegetarian, if it's keto. She's saying do it in a way, mix it up like a random selection. Don't just stick to the same things that you're doing all the time. If you're just eating the same way and the same things, maybe introduce a new carb, maybe introduce a new fruit, maybe introduce something new into your system. If you're eating the same type of meals all the time in the same type of way, then your body gets so adapted. You have to keep switching it up, you have to keep it manipulated so it keeps working for you in the best way. And that's a fun thing to do also, is you get to vary it up. I like switching things up. And if you are someone who likes, you're still keeping the intermittent fasting, that's your underlying thing. You're just also switching up the food groups and when you eat them, the time of day that you eat them. If you can be, let's just say you go in your doctor, you tell him, I want to test to find out what I am metabolically inside. What is my metabolic age? Let them tell you where you're at. And then you say, I'm starting on this program. I want to come back in on a checkup and I want you to check me in 40 days. Or let's just say a month. I want you to check me same time frame next month. Get on the intermittent fasting program and see the difference when you go back in. If your age is in your 40s or 50s or even 60s or 30s even, if you are feeling sluggish and tired and clouded and like you can't focus and lack of energy all the time, you're having trouble sleeping, and you're clearly in the weight that you have on you, it puts you in an obese level on paper. You are probably at a much higher metabolic rate on the inside. That's just how it works. So let's just say you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, and really metabolically, if you get checked out and they're saying, okay, you're 32, but metabolically you're about 57. Would that not like shake you and wake you up and be like, whoa, wait, what? 57? All you got to do is change it around. What she's saying is devote a month. A month. Well, she does 40 days. I like to just jump in on a month. Let's just, from the start of the month to the end of the month, let's give intermittent fasting a go. Literally, you're just shrinking your eating window. You're giving intermittent fast. You're cutting out snacks unless they're healthy snacks. You're cutting out all of the sugary drinks like sodas. At the beginning, you don't even have to cut any of that stuff out. We're just going to shrink your window. So if you guys want to get on board, I'm going to post up today again the 15-day Kickstarter leading up. But right now we're this week we're heading into our 36-hour fast, which is going to be the ultimate for people that are in any type of recovery mode. You had cancer, you had a treatment, you just got over a bad illness, you just had the flu, you have any kind of, you want to replenish your body and put yourself in a recovery mode in just 36 hours, we're doing that this week. So we're starting that this week. If you guys want to join in, please do subscribe here, or you can go to my Facebook or Instagram. That's Kara Christensen TV. Here is at Kara Chris TV on YouTube. But we are going to jump into that 36-hour fast, but we're going to wean ourselves in there. So starting tomorrow, which is Wednesday, we're doing a two meals. That's it. 2 meals. And then the next day, we are going into 1 meal and a snack. And then the following day, we are doing no meals. So if you guys want to jump in and reset and reboot and do that 36-hour fast, we are going to do that here this week. But this is, if you don't feel you're there, you just need a different starting place. I got the starting place for you. You got to do the 15-day kickstart. It is a slow wean to get you there. And you guys will be so happy that you did it for yourselves. I promise you. It is absolutely so good for you in so many ways. And what a great gift to yourself. Honestly, what a great gift for the new year coming in.
Low protein, under 20 grams a day.
Let me back it up. Sorry.
35 in 40 days. That's how powerful.
My bad.
6 months to a year of going in and out of fasting, mimicking,
Mm-hmm.
and high healthy fats, diet variation. I am now in my 20s metabolically.
I don't know, buddy.
Immediately in the first 40 days of me going through the first round of my program, I went from being in my early 60s metabolically down to 35 in 40 days. That's how powerful innate intelligence is within you. So what else turns on autophagy? Low protein, under 20 grams a day. So this is exactly what explains the first 40 days of my program. Fasting, we do intermittent fasting, restricted calories. You're eating somewhere between, there's no calorie maximum. In fact, we don't want you dropping under 500 calories, but we're restricting the amount of protein so that you stay in autophagy. It's 20 grams or less a day. We're restricting your carbs, so all the vegetables that we recommend in that first 40 days is all high fiber, high water, low carb vegetables.
So we're going to go over to the woman I like, Dr. Mindy. She's like so good about breaking these things down. Just bear with me. I'm going to go over here. You guys can follow along with me. And I'm going to bring her up on this because she's so good about breaking down all of the, the steps of these things. 70 water fast. No, that's not right. But let's see. Feast, famine, cycle. And she also talks a lot about sorry, Dr. Mindy. She also talks a lot about how it affects your testosterone, your hormones, like if you're in perimenopause or menopause, anything like that. Let's see, what is this one? Understanding feast, famine, cycling. Okay, let's see if she talks about it here.
How you can use feasting to your metabolic advantage as we move through the holidays. You were designed for feast, famine, cycling. Think about the hunter-gatherer days. We didn't have access to food all the time. So we have systems inside of us that get turned on when we're fasting, and we have systems that do really well with feasting. Now, how do we apply that to the holidays? For example, on Thanksgiving, I think a lot of people naturally do this. I will be fasting all day and do 1 meal a day. So it's an OMAD day for me. And then when I sit down to eat, I will eat. I'm not going to just, nibble. I'm going to actually pour into amazing food that my family and I will be cooking. How you can use feasting to your metabolic advantage as we move through the holidays. You were designed for feast.
So that's the whole point about the intermittent fasting is the feast. I guess that's just another name that they're calling for intermittent fasting, is the feast and famine. So it's pretty much just saying you're going to eat all your food during this time, and then you're going to allow yourself to you're going to allow your body the time it needs to process it. I mean, that's pretty much what a feast and famine is all about. There's so many good apps. My sister started one that she said she likes. It's called Omo. It's OMO. I started one that I thought was very informative. It's great for the beginner. It's called Simple. So if you are a beginner and this is new journey for you, and fasting, intermittent fasting is like entirely new. Oh, you have no idea what's what about it. This Simple app is great because it takes literally every aspect of everything and breaks it down, and breaks down all of. There's a personal coach. I think it's an AI coach, honestly, but anyway, they're available 24/7. If you say, okay, I'm having struggles, this is what I want to eat, I want to have good snacking options, give me some good snacking options. Or I want to have a meal, a nice healthy meal based around pork or chicken or fish or just veggies. You ask your coach on the app, Simple app. You're assigned a coach. You ask your coach. You put in there, I want to make a meal around this. What's a good meal that I can eat? Because everything in it is based off of how your body should be operating. What are the meals? It tells you exactly what you need, ingredient wise, exactly how to cook it. It's really, really helpful if you are new, you're a beginner, you have no idea where to turn. The internet can be overwhelming. This is a dietitian app. So it's got a dietitian, it's got a person who like all the specialist doctors who have like built this app around your body type, your age, your 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 lifestyle. So you type in how many hours a day you have to prepare a meal. I mean, it's so in depth. It's called Simple, and it's an app. You can get it on whatever your device, Android and iOS. But it is absolutely really good. For me, even I'm like, oh, I didn't really know that, because it tells you while you're in fasting. It comes up with all these little cartoon things, like kind of engaging you and like, okay, you're doing great. Now, right now, you just reached this stage. You're in your 12 hours of your fast. This is what's happening inside of your body. And it breaks down the process while you're fasting in real time, and tells you what's going on inside your body. What are the benefits that are happening right now inside your body, hour by hour of your fast. So that's really cool. But it also told me, it gives you all these other little things at the bottom of the app. It tells you, like, if you want to know, does taking a bite of something, tasting your food when you're cooking it, does that take you out of fasting? And I thought it did, but apparently it doesn't. So, I mean, I'm learning something new from the app too, but people have been asking me about a good app to use for learning and keeping you on track with your fasting. It does hold you accountable, because you got to put your food in, your water intake. It does, like, if you've only logged a couple bottles of water, a couple glasses of water for the day, it will tell you, hey, this is why you need to drink more water. This is what's happening inside your body because you're not drinking the water. And it explains to you what's going on inside your body, which is so helpful, because then it gives you the knowledge that you need to want to adjust. Like, if you're just like, oh, whatever, I didn't drink enough water today, I'll drink more tomorrow, or whatever the case. But this is saying, hold on now, before you roll with that mentality, here's why you should go and have another glass of water today. Maybe try and have another, like, 2 glasses of water before you go to bed. Or maybe put a little crack of salt. If you've been intermittent fasting all day and you're a little bit dehydrated, put a little crack of salt just to give you a little extra hydration in your water, so you can, hold on to that water in your cells a little bit better, in your organs. So it's so good to, help keep you on track, but also explain to you, give you the knowledge, also helping you with meals. Like, you don't know what kind of meals are right, what aren't good for you. There's also so many vegetables that, if you do have a history of cancer in your family, there are vegetables that you absolutely should not be eating, because it 100% feeds the cell that has the cancer in it. So I will try and pull that up so we can go ahead and take a look at that too. But this app called Simple is so good, and it does also, like I said, give you options if you don't really know what you should be eating and you don't know what you want, everybody's in the mood for maybe a meat or a fish or whatever the case for the night. Just you put that in your little chat box. You have a coach that you're always in chat with 24/7. Even if you're struggling, they'll be like, okay, I'm really hungry. This is what I want to do. They'll give you ways to curb your hunger at that moment to keep you sticking to whatever the window you choose. You can choose a 10-hour window, a 12-hour window, an 8-hour window, whatever your eating window you're choosing to eat, and then the rest is the fasting. So your coach knows what you're going through. Coach knows what you're doing. It's a little text chat box that you like respond back and forth with. But if, like the other night, I said, I have these pork chops, I'm not quite sure what's a good pork chop dish that's going to keep me, in a healthy realm and keep me on track. You put how much you want to lose by a certain time, and then it'll tell you what you need and what you don't need and adjust in real time. Even if you go off and you log it and say, oh, well, I actually had some potato skins today. I don't know, just throwing that out there. You log that you have potato skins, what was on the potato skin, and then your coach will write back to you and say, okay, well, that's okay. You did that. That's fine. So how about tomorrow we try and do another hour of fasting, like shorten your window a little bit just to make up for that time. So it's constantly adjusting to whatever the input you're putting in there. But I threw in there, I said, I want to know a pork dish. What should I use? What could I do? It told me exactly, like, several different recipes. I didn't like the first one, a stir fry, because we had already done a chicken stir fry. So then it was telling me another one. It tells you exactly the ingredients, measured out, and then how to cook it. So it's so helpful. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is way beyond just what I've done before, which is a intermittent fasting tracker. So it'll pretty much just tell you and keeps track of, okay, well, you have 6 more hours, kind of like a mental check-in. So it wasn't really so much this. This is like a submersive experience. It's called Simple, and it was very inexpensive. The code, what's the code? You get 60% off if you put in Forbes 60, like Forbes magazine, FORBES 60. So when it's coming up with your program, you can do a weekly program, a monthly program, or I think you can get 3 months at a time. And the code is Forbes 60, and that gives you 60% off of your meal plan or your Simple plan if you get the app. So the app is Simple, SIMPLE. That's the name of it. And Forbes 60 gets you 60% off, which is huge. Comes down to, like, I don't know, 50 something cents a day for, depending on what you get. I got the month program. I think it was like $11. And if you get the 3-month program, it was $28, $29, somewhere around there, for 3 months of daily, hourly, minute by minute guidance and having someone hold you accountable, having a coach explaining to you what's going on, all of these really cool benefits that it has. It's really so cool. Just check it out. It's Simple, and it's Forbes 60. That is the code to get the 60% off, which is a really great deal. I just did this like a week ago, so I know that the code was working then, so hopefully it's still working. And let me go to the playlist that I have. Let me go to my channel. I need to go to my playlist and find. Okay, here we go.
Today I want to show you a very unique way.
No, that's not what we're doing. The one I want to show you, all these videos I have on my playlist right here on YouTube, as you saw where I was. If you're on my page, right, this is my page, and you go right here to where it says playlists, you click on the playlist, and then it's right here where it says podcast info vids. That is where all of the videos
Today I want to show
are.
you a very unique.
All the videos are that I show on here that we talk about. But I want to go to the one about the cancerous foods, the vegetables to not eat. I came across that and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to go over this with everybody. Let's see, how do I must eat? Everyone must eat to naturally blah blah blah. No. Protein, these right here.
key markers to longevity.
Okay. She's much louder, that's for sure. I think I can hear Dr. Mindy just fine. Okay. Yeah, she speaks louder. That other lady was definitely in a whisper chat. She was whisper talking. And I feel like I can tell when my body is fighting something because, I get a little stuffy. Everybody's bringing home the colds. It's so cold up here right now. But I get a little stuffy and my eyes get a little puffy, but I'm not feeling that because I do my fasting. So my cell regeneration and my energy levels stay up pretty high, which is incredible because normally when I would get sick like the kids, I would be down for the count. So it's another one of those true superpowers of intermittent fasting. And even when I'm sick, I will go even a little longer because I'm just letting my body heal. So I'll go into maybe like a 24-hour fast. So my body has time to just focus on what's going on inside and not put any extra food in there. So it's a great healing tool. Once you learn how to do it and you get comfortable doing it and you know how to read the signs of your body, it's really a no-brainer. And it's so crazy how you can adjust your body like within a 24-hour period. You can adjust your mental clarity, your energy, you're getting sick, like you can fight off so much stuff. It is insane. And the studies they've been doing on the intermittent fasting in correlation with cancer cells and cancer, and even having those dormant cancer cells ever being active at all, is insane. The numbers and the studies are crazy. Like 60 in the 64% or in the 78% or in like the highest percentages of people that were borderline cancer, like, but about to roll into a stage 1 or diagnose stage 1 and then come back in and don't have it at all. Diagnose stage 3 cancer and then come back in and don't have any signs of cancer cells just from fasting. Going in and having, or you're having treatments, currently in treatments, and your recovery times are usually pretty long and you feel pretty down. Staying in a fasted state helps that autophagy, helps get rid of and kill those cancer cells. Cannot survive when your body is in autophagy. Once your body's in autophagy and it takes all those bad cells and feeds them to the good cells to strengthen up those good cells, kind of like beefing them up so they can tackle the bad cells. They almost become like Fort Knox, right? Like ironclad, like no bad cells can get in. It's really impressive when you watch the breakdown of it. And this app that I was telling you about, the Simple app, constantly is telling you what's going on inside for the hour by hour, play by play. Any sports fanatics out there, this has got the play by play inside telling you this is what's happening. This is why you should keep going. It's really cool. You should check it out. Simple. And then Forbes 60. Bo, I think you'd really like that, since I know like intermittent fasting and fasting is a whole new realm for you. I think that you would really, and it's so good with like meal planning, meal prep, snacks. What are the best drinks to have while you're fasting? Like it's so good. And it's just so good. You can just literally go in there and just play around and see all these different videos and all this different stuff. And you have your own dedicated 24/7 coach that keeps you in check and answers all your questions and kind of like pumps you up and makes you feel, motivated when if you like reach out and be like, I'm struggling, I really want to eat a snack, but I have 4 more hours until my fasting window ends. And then your coach would be like, okay, so you're struggling, try this. Go and drink 8 ounces of water right now, or do water with lemon and a little bit of salt in your drink. Drink that up and then check back in 15 minutes. Go or do some like up downs, which is like literally just standing up out of your chair and sitting back down, standing up and sitting back down. Do 10 of those and then drink your water, or drink your water and do 10. So it guides you like that. It's like in real time. It's really fantastic. Especially a lot of people that don't know, the whole plethora that there is to know around your eating, like what goes on in your body. Why is this good for me? Why is it not? That kind of stuff. So to recap what happened in the beginning, for those of you that just joined, welcome, by the way. This from from what you eat and what you put in your body, your metabolic rate is different than what your age is. So if you're in your 40s and then you go get tested, say to your doctor, I want to test what is my metabolic rate inside? What am I at? And they say, well, it shows that you're at a 55 age and you're maybe 40. You don't want that, right? So within 1 month of doing intermittent fasting, that's it, not adding anything extra, but intermittent fasting, within 1 month, you can bring yourself all the way down to the 30s and even 20s metabolic inside. What does that mean? That means, how did you feel when you were 20? How did you feel in your 30s? Right? Like the energy level, just like the velocity inside of how your organs are functioning, how your brain is functioning, how sharp-minded you are, just how resilient you are. It's really it's fascinating that you can do that. You can change no matter where you were, right? No matter how much damage you have done to your body over the years, 40 days or 30 days, it can be a whole new body. It can be you can be a whole new person. That's so powerful. I mean, you can't deny the power of that just from the intermittent fasting. So if you guys are just joining, Simple is the app, SIMPLE, and Forbes 60 is the code to get 60% off. I did just the month. It was $11 and some odd cents. You can get the 3 months, and that's around 27 something. And that is a daily, hour by hour, minute by minute. Someone is helping you, guiding you, and keeping you on track, even all the way through the holidays. It's really fantastic. Okay, here are the foods that you absolutely should not eat that cause cancer and feed the cancer cell in your body. Let's take a listen.
Is keeping your glucose and insulin low. Oxidative stress.
Let me get to it.
Healthy life and promote longevity. First, let's take a look at the science behind why the following foods are to be avoided.
One of the key markers to longevity is keeping your glucose and insulin low. If you have blood work, what you want to see is a hemoglobin A1C that's under 5. You want to be closer to 4.5 for graceful, energetic aging. When you have a metabolic situation and a deficient microbe, you have a body that is aging quicker than it needs to age. It all comes down to that simplicity. Oxidative stress will accelerate aging, it will increase inflammation, and it will make you more vulnerable to the virus. And there is one food, you guys, like one food that science keeps saying over and over and over again that is creating more oxidative stress than any other. And it is the food you've got to get off of. And that food is fructose. Fructose is just a fancy term for sugar.
The first food Dr. Mindy Pelz avoids is refined flours and sugars.
Refined flours and sugars. Man-made carbs are going to put on weight. Nature's carbs are going to help you lose weight. Eat nature's foods. Things that come from the ground are going to be way better than things that came from commercial warehouse. Just because we call them a carb doesn't mean that they're the same thing. So really look at the refined flours and sugars. It doesn't matter if it's gluten-free or not. The more we process flour, the more we process a sugar, what we're doing is we're bringing up that glycemic index. So if we're eating refined flours and sugars, you're really spiking your sugar burner system, taking it much longer. You have to get fast a whole lot more to be able to move you over into this fat burning system.
Of the refined carbohydrates, Dr. Mindy avoids wheat.
Wheat bread. First is the way that wheat is being grown, at least here in America, is that it's a new hybrid of wheat. And inside that wheat is a toxin called Bt toxin. And Bt toxin is made as a way to kill an insect when it comes to the wheat strand. If an insect goes in, starts to munch on the wheat kernel, that insect will die. So that's what Bt toxin is supposed to do, is it becomes a way of killing, it's like a pest, it's like a natural pesticide that is built within the wheat that we're growing right now in America. Other parts of the world may not be growing this new hybrid. But here's the challenge with Bt toxin, is it also kills the microbes in our gut. So when we eat meat, we're decimating our gut health.
So that would be the first reason. The second reason that I don't eat wheat is because of glyphosate. So here's the deal with glyphosate is that wheat is heavily sprayed with glyphosate. And glyphosate also kills the microbes in our gut. Glyphosate creates a leaky gut situation, and glyphosate goes up and pushes heavy metals deeper into our brains. It's just not a worthy exchange. Don't get me wrong, I love the taste of wheat bread, but I'm not willing to change my gut microbiome. I'm not willing to have a leaky gut situation that tanks my energy, and I'm definitely not willing to drive heavy metals deeper into my brain, affecting my hormonal production and mental clarity. It's not a worthy exchange, in my opinion. One of the challenges we have with wheat bread, and this was actually some interesting studies that were done out of the Journal of Clinical Nutrition that showed that people who ate wheat bread actually ingested 400 more calories every day than people who didn't. And it was really centered around gluten. So it's more than just bread, it's anything with gluten in it, because gluten can be a stimulator of appetite. But the way I look at it is when you eat it, there's going to be 30 seconds to a minute of pleasure, of taste, but then you've got all these adverse reactions that happen that you're now going to have to deal with.
Next food to cause the adverse reaction is diet soda.
Diet anything. So specifically something with.
So back to the gluten thing. I know a lot of people are on the fence about gluten. Like, is gluten free? Like, is gluten a thing? Like, I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's a gimmick by the Food and Health Administration to put in gluten, like to put gluten free. Like, that's not a real thing. It is. It's not that you don't have to have some type of gluten, I guess, like celiac or something that's been diagnosed. Gluten is just an inflammatory. So it's going to, mess up the way that your body operates on the inside when you ingest too much of it. If a insect eats gluten and dies, or the wheat grain and dies, something's not right. It's just how it's being harvested. It's whatever the pesticides are on it. It's not good for our systems. You don't have to have some type of diagnosed disease to know that gluten is just not great for the inside of how your operation of your body. So it's not a fad. It's not like a Food and Drug Administration gimmick. It really is a thing. It really is a thing. But it's my husband was even like, why nobody's gluten free in this house, or nobody's got a gluten issue. Why do you keep buying these gluten free things? I'm like, well, now that I'm learning more, look on the back of the boxes on something that's regular and then something that's gluten free. You can see the ingredient list will go from like this to this. They take out all of the stuff inside of the box that's the same box of stuff, the same thing on the shelf, but it'll say gluten free. Like, I'm talking mainly like baked goods, stuff I like to do with my daughter. But I try, if you just look at the back, and it doesn't taste that much different for me. I mean, the kids, I don't even say anything. I normally will just take it out of the box before they even see it, because it's almost like a mental thing for my teenagers. I'm like, I'm not eating this gluten free. What it's gonna taste like trash. But it's it's an evolved time. There's a lot more information out there on things than there used to be. So look at cigarettes, for instance. I live in an area where cigarettes were just handed out on the streets back in the day, and they didn't know that it was causing, such bad lung cancer and cancerous and all of the things. People were just like, being handed cartons of cigarettes. Times change and we get more information, we get more studies, so we have to take it all into account. But I really love this doctor. She's so good about this. And I know they came up with a whole line of zeros for people that were drinking diet. You were supposed to switch over to zero because it didn't have the same type of synthetic sugar in it as a diet drink. The zero is supposed to be better for you, but here she is busting that up too. So take a listen.
To cause the adverse reaction is diet soda.
Diet anything. So specifically something with NutraSweet in it. And here's the challenge with NutraSweet. A, it's an obesogen. An obesogen is a chemical that will block insulin receptor sites. It'll make you insulin resistant. So the first thing is that it
NutraSweet is also the packets on the tables when you go into restaurants, the pink ones. Pink ones, like there's a running industry joke, like don't touch the cancer packets, because the pink packets are the most cancerous of all on the table. And ironically, they're in a pink packet, which is related. You resonate that pink color with cancer awareness. So even more strange that the one that's most driven by cancer and activates your cancer cells is in a pink packet on the tables. It's wild.
moves you in the direction of insulin resistance. The second thing that it does is it spikes hunger. So there's a ton of research showing that NutraSweet, when it goes up into the brain, will stimulate the hunger hormone called ghrelin. And when ghrelin goes up, hunger goes up. And all of that happens from a chemical that we think we're doing to reduce calories down, and that ultimately is going to help us with weight loss. And it doesn't. A lot of you have asked me, like, can I have diet soda in my fasting window? And the answer is no, because NutraSweet is an appetite stimulant. I also eat a lot more than I ate now. In reality, what you're doing is you're promoting appetite. And a lot of times the NutraSweet will throw off the microbiome, and your microbiome actually controls your blood sugar. If you don't have those good microbes to bring blood sugar down when you eat, you're going to end up with elevated blood sugar. So don't fall prey to the NutraSweet. Don't fall prey to the diet soda. Get it out, especially if you're trying to lose weight.
Next is juice.
Orange juice. Everybody thinks I'm going to have a glass of orange juice in the morning. It's going to be so healthy for me because it raises vitamin C.
Everybody does.
I have no idea where the orange juice, lobbyists are out there, but somehow we got it nailed in our brain that this is healthy and you got to get rid of it. And let me tell you why. Look at this as a cup of sugar. It's literally a cup of sugar. When you drink it, your blood sugar is going to spike, and then it's going to crash a couple hours later. And it's going to put you on this massive metabolic up and down. And that is absolutely destroying your insulin levels. I'm going to even go as bold as to tell you that orange juice is making you insulin resistant. And the fact that you would have it in the morning.
That is so wild, right? I mean, to eat an orange is different, but the levels that she's talking about that is in a glass of orange juice is obscene. And to think that one glass can completely screw your cycle up is mind-blowing. You do want to get your vitamin C. There's so many ways to get your vitamin C that's not in a glass of orange juice, though. I mean, so many ways. Here, let me continue.
Morning is setting you up for a day of metabolic failure.
Aside from orange juice cleanses are not as healthy as one might think.
Juice cleanses. The only juice cleanse that I could see that is metabolically okay would be like a green juice cleanse. But the minute you add in fruit, you're now tipping the scale away from this fat burner into a sugar burner. So when we add the pineapples, when we add apples, when we add oranges, and we juice those, you're getting more than the actual fruit itself. So if you're going to do a juice cleanse, it's got to be green juices. That's it. Even beets and carrots are going to be high in sugar and keep you over here in the sugar burning energy system. So juice cleanses, although your stomach may flatten because you're not eating, they're not a long-term benefit to weight loss.
Next food Dr. Mindy avoids is fish.
I'm going to give a little bit of the...
And that is, I don't agree with the fish thing. I think fish is really good for you, but we'll see what she has to say. But I like what she's saying about her tagline at the end of that was, this is not gonna be long term. You're not gonna be able to continue this long term. It's not gonna be beneficial long term for if you do X, Y, and Z. Like doing a juice cleanse. Yeah, if it gets you in a better intermittent fasting eating schedule and getting out of the habit of putting food in your mouth, like the oral fixation of eating, if that helps you, by all means, do it to get you to where you need to be. But that is not something that's going to be an extended thing. You have got to then roll into either paleo, keto, whatever you're vegetarian, whatever it is that, that works best for you to operate. I would, like we watched the doctor earlier, shuffling all of those around is going to be the best way to keep your metabolic rate up. But keeping your intermittent fasting in your life is, no matter what you're doing, is a must. That is a absolute 100% must. You cannot not do that and get the best out of your life and get the best energy and the best focus and the clarity and the best organs and health and the best inner metabolic rate. You can't get all of those things unless you put the intermittent fasting in your life. It is huge, huge.
The reason why I don't eat fish, and then I'll tell you when I do, because I still eat it a little bit, because fish is my absolute favorite. Unfortunately, our oceans are so polluted that many fish now have heavy metals in them. So some of the bigger ones, like you know that like tuna and mercury, a lot of mercury in tuna. So as somebody who's detoxed a lot of heavy metals out of her body, someone who cares about her hormones, tuna's just not on my list. And I used to eat a can of tuna like every couple of days. Tuna fish sandwiches were my favorite. I'd order tuna out at restaurants. So tuna's not around in my life anymore. So we have to realize that there are certain loads of heavy metals and plastics in our fish because our oceans are so polluted. If you go to the Monterey Bay Aquarium's website, they actually have a list of the fish that are the least toxic compared to the ones that are the most toxic.
Next is conventional fruits, which may surprise you.
Conventional fruit.
Let me go back. What was that website? I need to know. That's actually a great website to go that will give you real-time information on the best fish out there from the areas that are the least polluted, whereas you're getting a lot of people going to fishing in areas that are more polluted, and it'll give you a real-time health level of the fish that are available on the market right now, and their health value depending on where the fish has come from. So that is so interesting. Let me back that up and see what she said. What is the name of that website? Bo, can you catch that website? Let me see. I'm not sure.
If you go to the Monterey Bay Aquarium's website, they actually
Monterey Bay Aquarium's website. Monterey Bay Aquarium. I'm trying to see if I can see. I don't see an actual. Oh, there it is at the very top. Monterey Bay Aquarium Seafood Watch. That's what it is. So Monterey Bay Aquarium Seafood Watch. Monterey Bay Aquarium. And I'm sure there's so many of these, right? If you love fish and fish is what you eat, you're not really somebody who eats a lot of meat, and this is your main source of protein, I would definitely make sure you find out where you're getting the fish from. And mercury is a huge thing. You don't want to keep putting more lead and more metals in your body. That is a surefire way to lead you down the cancer road. That is what you don't want to do for sure. So this one that she sent was a Monterey Bay Aquarium Seafood Watch, and that will tell you in real time what's good fish to get on the market that has the least amount of mercury and the least amount of pollutants from where the fish came from. So let's continue on.
You have a list of the fish that are the least toxic compared to the ones that are the most toxic.
Next is conventional fruits, which may surprise you.
Conventional fruit. Apples and bananas are kind of the biggies that I used to just, anywhere I went, if I saw an apple, I picked it up and ate it. Apple a day, kept the doctor away. Not anymore. Because what we know about conventional fruit is most of it's genetically modified. And in the genetic modification process, the vitamins and minerals are just not there. It is a dead food. I will eat fruit from a regenerative farm. I go to my farmer's market. I have this incredible place that has these Newton apples that are just to die for. They come in the fall. I have an apple tree at home. I'll eat that.
What is a regenerative farm? A regenerative farm is a type of agricultural operation that focuses on restoring and enhancing the health of ecosystems, soil, water, and biodiversity, often through practices like crop rotation, cover cropping, and minimal tillage.
Regenerative farm. Have you ever heard of this before? I'm getting all these ideas. I cannot believe with fruit. It's so freaking sad, man. It is so sad. Regenerative. Let me write this down before I forget it. Regenerative farm foods. I mean, thankfully, where I am is a lot of farm area. It's big farmland, and there's farms all over the place to get things from. But we have a lot of farmers markets too. You are paying more, but if you're eating less, it's worth it. If you're trying to get full encompass, it's so sad that we just can't trust what's in the grocery stores. I mean, it's like it's so sad. It's unbelievable. I feel like, are we moving into an era where we're going to have to rely on we're not even going to go to the grocery stores. We're going to have to boycott the grocery stores until they get it in check. I mean, are they gonna do, are we gonna have to only rely on farmers markets and be able to go there? I mean, if you're starting out intermittent fasting, and this is what I tell my clients, if you're starting out intermittent fasting, right, you're gonna be saving money because you are not eating even half the food that you were eating before. So all that money that you're saving, instead of buying the quantity, now let's focus on getting the quality. So when you do eat, you're putting quality in your body and you're not putting the quantity things, which the quantity of things is more cost effective, but what avail? I mean, so you're going to eat something that's got all these unnatural hormones and pesticides, and it grew in a soil that was just so toxic, full of pesticides. So now you're just going to eat those, and then what? You want to go down the road of getting cancer? Because that's, if you see the number of people that have cancer this day and age, is astronomical in comparison to even 10 years ago. So these videos are to help you get enough knowledge to where you're going to be able to save yourself, save your children, save those around you from going down that cancerous path if you can. If you can understand a little bit more about the foods that we're eating, where to get the good foods that you can eat, and what not to eat at all, period. I mean, just trying to give you the best life that you can live, and knowing that you can actually be a young person and have the internal organs of an 80-year-old or a 70-year-old should be enough to wake you up and be like, I do not want to live like that. Because then when I'm 30 or 40, you're going to be living in your life like you're 100 inside. It's not what you want. You don't want to do that. You don't want to. That's not life. That's not living. And to live your best life and to be in your fullest light, you have to do these things to help yourself. And it's not something that's going to be detrimental financially to you. It's something that you're saying, hey, I'm going to eat less anyway, so let me spend the money a little bit extra, a couple bucks more, on getting these healthier items, or going to the farmer's market to get food, and supporting your local farmers that are not putting all of the pesticides and all that stuff in their foods. And there is a way to test the food. I have to look it up. I have to find where it is. There's a tester to test your food for pesticides. So just because someone is saying they're organic too, doesn't always mean. But growing your own garden isn't always an option. But vegetable beds and plant beds more accessible to people that are in apartments, or in smaller spaces, or maybe you don't have a yard. You can still grow nice natural fruits and vegetables of your own. You just also have to make sure where you're getting your seeds from. If you're getting your seeds from an area, like my mother-in-law, she gets all of her seeds from Italy. She makes sure they are Italy grown because the soil there is rich. They are a pesticide-free nation. It's illegal to put the pesticides. You cannot even produce food out for sale that has pesticides in it. They do extensive checks and you get a huge fine if there are pesticides or fillers in their foods over there. So she makes sure she gets her seeds from Italy, and that means that they're grown, the fruit or the vegetable that the seeds came from, are grown in a soil that was protected from pesticides, because it's illegal over there. And unfortunately, it's not here, but hopefully, in the future, things will change. I'm hoping. But it's good to know about what this was saying, regenerative farm foods. I didn't know about these. So in the US, this is something maybe you want to look towards is this.
Regenerative farming enhances the soil.
Let me back it right here.
In the fall, I have an apple tree at home. I'll eat that.
What is a regenerative farm? A regenerative farm is a type of agricultural operation that focuses on restoring and enhancing the health of ecosystems, soil, water, and biodiversity, often through practices like crop rotation, cover cropping, and minimal tillage. Regenerative farming enhances the soil's ability to retain nutrients, which can lead to crops with higher levels of vitamins, minerals, and other beneficial compounds. Next food to avoid is oatmeal. Instant oatmeal.
It's the instant oatmeal that is the worst. I don't care if you're buying it from the healthiest store in the world. What we find with this, anything that's instant, is that it's not going to have as much fiber in it. These tend to typically have some sugar in them. This one I actually bought from a local health food store, and it had coconut sugar in it, plus a couple other like interesting sugar substitutes in it. Still is going to spike your blood sugar because it's instant. It has been refined, so there's less fiber in it. You think you're being healthy, but really what you're doing is creating this massive, huge spike in your blood sugar, putting you down a poor path to metabolic health. Slowing aging at the root of longevity exists stable blood sugar, low blood sugar, ability to metabolically switch.
While vegetables are considered healthy, there are some types of vegetables that Dr. Mindy has now stopped eating. First of such is potato.
Potato. Hopefully, if you followed me long enough, I am a huge fan of the sweet potato. I'm also a huge fan of making sure that you're eating a variety of potatoes. And here's why. The sweet potatoes of different colors and potatoes other outside of just the russet all have a resistant starch in them. And this resistant starch actually will go into the lower part of your large intestine and feed the microbes in your large intestine. A conventional russet potato grown from a conventional farm is going to be just a big starch bomb. And you're going to, same thing as the orange juice, same thing as the oatmeal, you're just going to see a glucose spike. And then you're going to end up seeing that glucose is going to dip and you're on that metabolic roller coaster. If you had a russet potato from a regenerative farm, if you mixed it with a variety of sweet potatoes, that's what I do in my house. I actually will chop up all the different colored sweet potatoes, all the different colors of regular potatoes, put them together and bake them. Now we're working with a different avenue towards health. We're not depleting health, we're adding to it. And my blood sugar will stay more even that way. Conventional potato, not a lot of nutrients in it. You add margarine to it, which a lot of people are doing it, and now you literally are killing yourself.
Next food on the list will be a big surprise to you. Iceberg.
I love potatoes. I love potatoes with butter. I do. But, I also don't want to have the metabolic age of a 60-year-old in my body. So I could do without. I just can. You got a tomato from Safeway, planted the seeds, and now I have 3 tomato plants on my balcony and basil and peppers. Good job, Bo. What is Safeway? I'm not quite sure. Is that something that is in your area? I know you're in California. Hi, Hal. Hi. Monterey Bay Aquarium is the she. So, you know about Monterey Bay Aquarium, Bo? Okay. Being pre-diabetic, I watch all that. Okay. Good for you. Good for you. Monterey Bay Aquarium. I have never heard of that, but I'm guessing margarine and butter are not the same, right? Correct. That is correct. Grocery store. Oh, Safeway is a grocery store. Is that a California grocery store? Got it. I got it. I don't know why I'm not able to scroll down either. Got it. Both of you guys, grocery store. Got that. I have to find out from my mother-in-law where she gets her seeds because, they grow big and beautiful and plentiful, and I'm sure yours do too, Bo, but look on the back of your seed packet. Where are those seeds from? And then maybe you could do some research on how do they harvest their food and what is their pesticide score, that which is the score that the pesticides that are on their food. I think they have to post that legally if they're a farm. Pretty sure. I have to research that again. But we're almost to the end of
lettuce.
There's no nutritional value in iceberg.
So
not a lot of
remember, the ones that we're talking about today, what we're talking about today is the foods that are absolute. First, we talked about feast and famine, which is pretty much like intermittent fasting, just a different way of saying it. And the foods that are 100% something that you should avoid because it is going to feed the dormant cancer cells in your body. So that's where we are right now. And let's go and continue on. I like to know that you can still eat potatoes, just not the russet
nutrients in
potatoes.
it. You add margarine to it, which a lot of people are doing it, and now you literally are killing yourself.
Next food on the list will be a big surprise to you. Iceberg
Margarine butter.
lettuce.
There's no nutritional value in
I
iceberg
learned that
lettuce.
one too.
When I go to a restaurant and I ask for a salad, most of the time the salad will come with iceberg lettuce. There is very little nutrients in iceberg lettuce. And if you get it from a conventional farm, it's the same thing. Or it's even worse. The ways that we are conventionally growing our fruits and vegetables are deficient in microbes, they're deficient in minerals and vitamins. Don't know a lot of regenerative farms that are growing iceberg lettuce. They're growing more of the mixed greens, more of the exotic lettuces, some of the new lettuces that are appearing. A salad appears to be healthy, but if you're doing it with iceberg, it's got no nutrients in it. A salad that's got all of these exotic lettuces and maybe some dandelion greens and some parsley and a lot of mixed greens in it grown from a regenerative farm, you can call them both salads, but they're completely deficient in how they're going to support your health.
Next food also
So the dandelion greens and like dandelion root is really good diuretic and obviously got great fiber. Diuretic is something that helps rid your body of that water weight. So it's also something that's really good. They have dandelion root tea that you can drink, and you can also drink that while you're fasting, and that will also help flush out the excess sodium that you have in your body, the excess water weight. It's called dandelion root. So if you drink a tea that's got the dandelion root, helps you flush out that extra sodium, because high levels of sodium gives you high blood pressure. It's not good for your body. You need that out. Like if you have swollen fingers, swollen face, like swelling around your ankles, knees areas, like that is something that's really good. So to answer what you said, butter and margarine differ in several ways, including their ingredients, flavor, texture, nutritional value. So flavor, butter is a richer, creamier texture. Nutritional value, margarine is often better for heart health than butter because it's lower in saturated fat and contains no cholesterol. So margarine is better for heart health. Interesting. However, some margarines contain trans fat, which is worse for you than saturated fat. Okay, so hold on now. Hold the phone. So Google search, okay? So it says margarine is better for heart health than butter because it's lower in saturated fat, right? Lower in saturated fat. But it also contains trans fat, which is worse for you than saturated fat. So out of the two, if trans fat is worse for you, right, than saturated fat, you want to go with the thing that's got the saturated fat above the trans fat if you're going to have one of the two. Melting butter around 93 degrees Fahrenheit, while margarine melts at a slightly higher temperature. Not quite sure what that matters. Butter is usually sold in blocks or sticks, while margarine can be sold in sticks or tubs. Remember though, the margarine has trans fat. Trans fat is really hard to get rid of. So if you want to have something in the better of the options, I would definitely go with butter. And I would go grass-fed butter because it's going to be better for you, less toxins and all that fun stuff too. So
may surprise you. When it comes to vegetables, don't eat just one variety.
Carrot sticks
and they reach for our celery sticks. And we eat these over and over and over again. These types of foods that are conventionally grown are not only not adding to your health, they are depleting your health because they have no nutrients. They take energy from you to be able to digest them. So they can tank your minerals, they can tank your vitamins. But the other part, and the reason that I'm bringing these two out, is what I find is that when you say to somebody, eat more vegetables, they go to these two. There's something called monoculture, where when we eat the same vegetables over and over and over again, we take our microbial diversity, we take our incredible health benefits of the microbes in our gut, and we start to create a subset of microbes that are flourishing, allowing the other microbes to fall away. We create a monoculture. When we look at what we need to stay microbial health in optimal order, which, by the way, your microbes in your gut support your immune system, they regulate your blood sugar, they give you neurotransmitters for your brain. It's really important that you feed them. We've got to open up your diet. Stop eating the same things over and over again. So if you've been eating carrots and celery for your whole life, it's time to try something different. Try some red pepper, some yellow pepper, eat the colors. Try some cucumber. Try adding more salads. But let's stop eating the same thing over and over again.
Finally, the food we should avoid is bad oil.
Bad oils. So we've got to get the bad oils out and get the good oils in.
What are the bad oils? Here's the list.
Canola oils, vegetable oils, cottonseed oils, corn oils, partially hydrogenated oils, sunflower oil and safflower oil, soybean oil. These are all.
Let me see if I can get this on the screen better. Hold on. Nope, that did not work. Let me get it on the screen so in case anybody wants to write that down. These are the oils to avoid. Let me try it like this. Nope. Let me try it like this. There we go. Okay. I just paused it on there in case anyone wants to write some of those down. Canola oils, vegetable oils, cottonseed oil, corn oil, partially hydrogenated oil, sunflower oil. Let me see what she says the rest. Let me see if I could get it up a little now. Over here a little now. I'm trying to shuffle it around and see if I can't get it all the way. Okay, let me just back her up so she can say it, so you guys can catch it. The last one, so it's sunflower oil, safflower oil, and soybean oil. Those are all bad oils.
Canola oils, vegetable oils, cottonseed oils, corn oils, partially hydrogenated oils, sunflower oil and safflower oil, soybean oil. These are all harmful fats that cause cellular inflammation and they make you insulin resistant.
Then, what are the good oils?
MCT oil is good. Ghee, Andreas seed oils, olive oil, it's avocado oil.
Okay. Anybody need to write those down? I'm going to back it up again. Hold on. Oh, crud. Where did I go? We're going to just start from here. Sorry about that. I'm going to pause it on
Fats that cause cellular inflammation and they make you
bad oils. Let me take a picture. Now post these back up. Do not do these oils. Okay? These are the ones
insulin
you should
resistant.
do.
Then, what are the good oils?
MCT oil is good. Ghee.
Ghee is really good. That is actually, I love that stuff. For butter, that's kind of what I use for butter oils. Here, hold on, let me move this. Let me see if I can enhance it, if it will work better. No, that's a hard no. Okay, let me just let her read it off to you. I don't know how to move that thing. Okay. Here we go.
Soybean oil. These are all harmful fats that cause cellular inflammation and they make you insulin resistant.
There we go.
Then, what are the good oils?
MCT oil is good. Ghee, Andreas seed oils, olive oil, it's avocado oil.
There you go. Now I did it. I paused it. So these are the good oils that you should be eating Nothing else. I've never used the Andreas seed oil. I have to look what that is. Olive oil obviously is great. Avocado oil I've used. That's really good if you get like Dave's Killer Bread. I don't know if you have, or Ezekiel bread, which is made from a certain type of grains and harvested differently than normal types of bread. It is a little bit more seedy, I guess is a good way to put it. But you put the olive oil or the avocado oil on top of that with a little bit of cracked pepper and some cracked sea salt. It's so tasty. Maybe put some fresh avocado slices on it and get those good healthy fats. But the MCT oil, right? So if you're doing your fasting journey and you're looking for a way to, like, let's just say you're going a really long time for fasting, or you're doing maybe like a multi-day fast, MCT oil is really good about helping elongate. They call it the bulletproof coffee. So when you put it in your coffee, it helps you able to go a little bit longer. Or maybe you're starting out fasting and you need a little assistance. You're used to eating breakfast in the morning and now you're trying to push that breakfast back a few hours so your body can fast for a little bit longer. I would definitely do the MCT oil. You can get it on Amazon. I'm sure your local grocery has it. But the MCT oil, I put like a squirt of that into my coffee. Some people put butter in their coffee, but the MCT oil also helps with inflammation and has antioxidants in it, helps with the free radicals. MCT oil is definitely a better way to go than putting the butter in your coffee, but the MCT oil, you just put a squirt of it. It does make it a little bit, it's almost like putting coconut oil in your coffee, which you also can do that too. It sounds a little kooky and it sounds like it won't taste good, but you really can't taste the difference. It just makes your coffee a little bit more, I don't know, oily. It sounds very strange, but it's creamy. Maybe creamy is a better word. I don't know, but you should try it. It's really good. It helps elongate your fast, and it helps keep you on track, and it's really good for the inflammation inside your body, which most of us walk around and have because of the foods that we eat. So that's why you got the joint pain. That's why you got the arthritis in your fingers. That's why, the knees and all of those pains are all caused from inflammation. Let's continue.
If you have had a bad habit of eating, then you can undo the damage by doing the following 2 simple things.
How do you undo the oxidative damage? Intermittent fasting is one of the best ways to bring oxidative stress down. So if you are not intermittent fasting right now, if you have not adopted a lifestyle of intermittent fasting, now is the time to do it.
Amen.
Okay, second thing, exercise. So something as simple as exercise, especially if you're doing like high intensity exercise like we're doing in my Reset Academy, that will bring down the oxidative stress levels. It can help reverse the damage.
So I want to have a very detailed discussion with you all about protein. It is definitely becoming a very popular topic right now, and I think it is definitely the hero macronutrient. We need to bring protein back, just like we need to bring fiber back. There's a lot of really interesting chemistry reactions that happen when you eat fiber, and there's a lot of cool chemistry that happens in your body when you eat protein. And one of the things we're seeing as the obesity epidemic is getting worse and worse and worse is that people are eating less protein and they're eating less fiber. And we need to bring these back. On this video, I'm going to talk about why we need to bring protein back. And there are 4 different reasons I want you to consider increasing your protein. Ready? Let's dive in. So the first reason that I want you to think about improving your protein amounts is for fat loss. And I know a lot of you come to my channel because you want to lose weight. And awesome. And a lot of you have lost weight. Like, put it in the comments if you've lost weight through either my books or through this channel, because I love how some of you have dropped hundreds of pounds. It's really cool. So, but what protein specifically does is that it is a stabilizer of blood sugar, and it really kills your hunger. So let me explain what I mean by that. Let's go back. Let's put it in the terms of metabolic switching. So what we know is that we want to be able to switch over into the fat burner system periodically using fasting as a tool for healing. But if this system, the sugar burner system, is like got you up and down and all around with the foods you're eating and it's not stable, getting over to that fat burning system is very difficult. So when we increase protein and do a high protein diet, we start to stabilize your blood sugar. That makes your fasting lifestyle much easier. The example that I use all the time is beautiful human Todd giving me authorization to speak.
This is what she's saying about the sugar fasting, or sorry, fasting in your sugar. So if you are keeping your sugar in check and you're keeping it down, because the sugar is what stimulates your hunger. So if you are putting all of these refined sugars or sugar in general, I mean, I guess if you're eating a fruit or things like that, it depends on the fruit. And it depends on the time of day. Like, you'd want to eat that in the day, not in the evening, because of the amount of sugar that you are still getting. And your body knows the refined sugars and the sugars that are fake because it's foreign, but it still responds to sugar in a fruit like sugar. It's still going to get an insulin spike. You're still going to get spiked up insulin because it's still sugar. So definitely cutting back on the fruits that you eat in the evening. If you're having fruits, there's going to be some fruits I'll post up on my page that will, be something that's in the lower sugar realm to eat. But keeping your sugar in check, she's saying, is keeping your fasting in longevity, because you are not going to be craving more food while in a fasted state if your sugars are low. So that's why keeping your sugars in check are important to the longevity of your fasting stage, because you don't want to keep thinking about food all the time because your sugar levels are so high and you're constantly like, oh, I'm hungry, I need that. And if you eat bad, you eat the refined sugars, when you eat those refined sugars, you're still hungry. Like, you just can't, it's like a void you can't fill because you just put a bunch of junk in. You didn't really put any real food. And I tell my kids, if they want a sweet treat, which I don't have many around, and if I do, it's something that we've made, but I feel like if you want a sweet treat, you have to have a cup of water. We got to wait 15 minutes. You have to have a cup of water. But every time they want a sweet treat, I have to say, okay, we have to eat real food first. And they're like, it is real food, but it's not. So in my household, real food is the food of substance, because the sweet treat is just going to make you hungry. It's not something to eat when you're hungry. If you're having a treat, it's because you ate your real food and you just want a little something sweet afterwards. But the sweet stuff is if you're hungry, that's not where to go, because you're just going to get even hungrier. So I do like how she puts that.
Speak about him. He lost 175 pounds building a fasting lifestyle. And what I did when we first started working together is the first thing I did is have him take his standard American diet and compress it all into one eating window. And then once he got rhythm with that, I had him increase protein. And just by doing those two things, within 90 days, he had lost 40 pounds. Now, why did that work? Well, I didn't take anything away from him. I just said, eat whatever you want, drink the soda you want, just do it in this eating window, and then let's bring in this really cool macronutrient by increasing protein. And what happened was his hunger started to change. And when his hunger became more stable, what he found is that he wasn't craving the junk he was craving before. So I will continue to say this, that you do not need motivation when it comes to weight loss. You need momentum. And when you pair protein with a fasting lifestyle, you will get momentum so fast. And that is what happened to Todd. A study, by the way, a really cool 2019 study, showed that 30 grams of protein in a meal, so if those of you that like the numbers, 30 grams of protein in a meal caused people's body to burn more calories when they were in a rested state. So if you'd like to sit and burn more calories, make sure you're getting 30 grams of protein with every single meal. Second thing that protein does is it really helps us build muscle. Now, I hope you've heard this over and over again. There's great information out there about how we break muscle down as we age, and that really affects our functionality. And it can be as simple as we just have, as you age, you have trouble like getting yourself out of a chair. I've told this story before. When my dad in his 80s had knee replacement surgery, he had lost so much muscle going into that surgery that it became difficult for him to even get out of a chair to be able to reposition himself when he was recovering from the surgery. So you need muscle as you age. It is probably more important than almost anything, especially when it comes to your musculoskeletal system. The other things about protein is that it'll break down into amino acids, and these amino acids will go in and repair injured muscles. So when we look at things like my menopausal women that are losing estrogen, and so therefore they're losing collagen, and so therefore they're ending up with more musculoskeletal injuries, when we bring protein in, we're not just building muscle, but we're increasing the amino acid profile that's helping us repair any injury. So if you had an injury that needed repair, the best thing to do is to improve your protein intake. Okay, number 3 is it improves and helps with brain function. Now, this is really interesting because the research is showing that low protein diets.
So just to make sure that was pretty clear, that the best way to keep your body healthy and living a long, healthy life is protein is so important. Protein is such a big part of that process because protein helps keep those muscles and those bones strong and active. So if you don't get the protein for your muscles, then your muscles are going to deplete. Your body's going to start feeding on those muscles. You don't want it to have any atrophy. You always want to have like a little bit of strength training in there is going to be just what the doctor ordered. So I definitely love that she's putting a big emphasis on the protein part, especially if you have an injury. The protein is a huge part of aiding in that recovery is protein. So
create low neurotransmitter production. Now, your neurotransmitters are these little mighty chemicals that get you thinking clearly, that keep you happy, that calm you. And for, again, my menopausal women, as we go after 40, as we lose estrogen and progesterone, we also lose dopamine, serotonin, acetylcholine, glutamate, oxytocin, BDNF, GABA. So we're losing 10 neurochemicals, and that will affect our brain, and that will contribute to things like dementia and Alzheimer's and mood disorders like depression and anxiety. So when is the last time you had a bad day? Did you ever ask yourself, did I eat enough protein? On a depressed day, on a mood low day, go eat more protein because it's going to bring in those amino acids that are going to help you make those neurotransmitters. Okay, check this out. I have a free fasting guide for you all. It's free. And it's going to teach you all the basics of fasting. It's going to teach you how to kill hunger when you fast, which is really cool. And it's going to show you how to break your fast.
So while she's talking about that, I want to talk about this app that I have. It's called Simple, Simple. You can download it on iOS or Android. That app is 100% a all-encompassing guide for your journey to living your best life from the inside out, from the foods you eat, to the times that you're eating, to the goal that you have set. It guides you all the way through from start to finish. And to get on the program with the app, Forbes 60 is 60% off, FORBES, 60% off until through the holiday. So Forbes 60, if you want to give yourself the gift of life and energy and lose that weight and feel better, lose that inflammation and get back on track and be in your best light, then I would definitely get this app to help guide you all the way through. It gives you a play-by-play, hour by hour, what's going on in your body while you're fasting, all of the amazing benefits that are happening inside that you can't see, but you could probably feel. Just like my sister called me yesterday and she was talking about, okay, she just got back on the intermittent fasting train. She was giving it a go. She's been on it for 7 days, already lost 7 pounds. And she called me. She was in her 19th hour of her fast. And at 19 hours, you can feel this like euphoria switch inside of your body. And she's like, I'm feeling so amazing. You have to call. Like, I missed her call because we were getting our Christmas stuff out. But she's like, you have to call me back. I have to tell you about this. I'm on my 19th hour. I am feeling so incredible. It is so strange because she's not used to doing the intermittent fasting schedule. And she's like, this is wild. At the 19th hour, even Dr. Mindy talks about the release of the serotonin, like that fill your body, flood your body. You feel so invigorated, so inspired, so productive, so happy, so alive. That happens at 19 hours without food. And it is incredible, the release that you get. It is such an amazing thing because your body is thanking you for giving it that time. It is cleaning it all out. It's almost like the feeling that you feel when you have had a messy house for a minute and then it's all clean, tidy, put together, polished up, and it looks so good. That is the feeling that you feel, your body feels inside, like everything is operating at its optimal performance. Everything feels good. It's thriving inside. My gut's thriving. My organs are thriving. I'm thriving. And that's at 19 hours of a fast. You get a 1300% or 1300 boost of your testosterone, all of your hormonal levels start balancing out, your blood sugar comes down, your body is releasing adrenaline and all of these endorphins. It is very powerful. You guys try it out. It's called Simple is the app. It's on iOS and Android, and Forbes 60 gets you 60% off of your whatever the plan. You can get a weekly plan, a monthly plan, or a 3-month plan. I don't remember there being anything past the 3-month plan, but maybe there is. But those are the things you can use the Forbes 60 code to get the 60% off with. So definitely try that out. It is a great app. I'm in focus now. There was a storm coming through, Bo, and I think that's what had to do with it, was the internet not making it clear. So thank you, though. Saturated fats aren't necessarily bad, right? Within range. I mean, within moderation, for sure. Usually eat romaine lettuce or green butter or red butter lettuce. Red butter lettuce. Never heard of that one. The green one I have. Romaine. Yeah, romaine's good. I like the crispiness. I also like arugula because that's a little bit spicy. So good for you. Yeah, now we know, right? People that eat that iceberg lettuce, it's not even. I know you do, Hal. And that's what they have when they serve it at the restaurants for the they serve it at the restaurants. What is that? The Cobb salad, or no. They serve it on a half wedge. They take pretty much an iceberg lettuce, cut it in half, and they put the blue cheese and the bacon on it. Is it an iceberg wedge salad? I can't remember. Something like that. But it is done on iceberg, so it's just pretty much pointless. You're really just eating cheese and bacon. That's what you have to look at it as, with a little crispy something on the other side of it. Thank you for letting me know about the focus. I don't know. It has to be from the storm that was coming through. That's the only thing that makes any sense. Let's finish this out since we only have a little bit of time left.
Among many other things. All you gotta do is click
this.
Joy. Okay, fourth reason you're going to want to bring protein back into your diet, and that's that it really improves your skin health. Okay, again, I'm a 54-year-old postmenopausal woman, so if I got some of you listening, put it in the comments, because I look at the statistics on my YouTube channel, and there's a lot of you out there, and you're navigating the wild, wild west of the menopausal years, and I'm here to tell you that protein can really dramatically help not just the moods, not just the challenges you're having with weight gain, not just the breakdown of muscle, but it even help with your skin, because as you lose estrogen, you lose collagen, and as you you lose collagen, this stuff gets more wrinkled. So one of the largest bodies of research that have been done on protein shows that taking collagen protein into your system, and I'll talk about different ways we can do this in a moment, not only improves the smoothness of your skin, but it will increase the elasticity and decrease skin aging. I'm going to put the link to that study in the notes here so you have it. But when is the last time that you have looked in the mirror and gone, oh, wow, like, wow, I'm really getting, the wrinkles are really really accelerating. Did you translate that into, am I getting enough protein? So in an era where we're leaning to toxic fillers like Botox and the junk that people are putting on their face, when did we stop and ask ourselves that maybe I just need to increase my protein? Here are some of my favorite sources of protein. And I've got vegan options and I've got animal options. So hopefully my plant-based friends have not left this conversation. So my favorite is grass-fed beef. And let me tell you why. Grass-fed beef or lamb, and this would even be grass-fed dairy, has beautiful array of the right omegas. So it has omega-3, 6, and 9. Our fatty acid profile is so important for cardiovascular health, brain health, joint health, skin health, all the things. So I like leaning into those proteins, knowing that I'm not just getting the amino acid surge that this kind of protein can provide me, but I'm also getting the right amount of fatty acids. Second one that I really love, if you can find it, is wild fish. Now, specifically salmon, because it has a high omega profile, but I also am experimenting with some of the fattier fishes like sardines and anchovies because of the vitamin D that exists within them. And remember, especially as we age, we need more vitamin D. So let's go back to a food that's going to give us amino acids, going to give us fatty acids, and it's going to give us vitamin D. Those of you that are spending tons of money on supplements, how about we come back to some of the great food strategies here, like eating some of the wild fishes that can support our overall health in so many ways. Okay, other ones, free-range chicken, turkey, and poultry. I love those foods because what they do is they also increase tryptophan, and tryptophan can get converted into serotonin, which will keep you happy. So it's a real big one for neurotransmitter production. And then for my friends that are plant-based, legumes, chickpeas, beans, lentils. Lentils are some of my favorite, and I'll tell you why. Lentils have an amino acid in it, a profile that is rich in leucine. And leucine is that amino acid. When you get enough of it, it opens up all the sensors for all the other amino acids. So you want to be eating more of these leucine-rich foods, and lentils is an incredible one. Tofu. I am determined to bring soy back into the conversation. I do not get how years ago we started to villainize soy as being this endocrine disruptor, and yet we've permeated our system with all these toxic ingredients like BHT and BHA, and we have slathering them on our body, but people are staying away from soy. Soy is a phytoestrogen, and it is really important for bringing up your estrogen levels. And for my menopausal women, we need to do everything we can to bring estrogen levels back up. So let's bring soy back into the conversation, please. And make sure it's organic. That's key. But tofu, other forms of soy can be great. And then the last couple ways I like to get protein in, Greek yogurt. I often break my fast with Greek yogurt. Put some berries in there. That's phenomenal. And then nuts. But make sure your nuts are raw, because the raw nuts are going to have more enzymes in them that will help you break it down. And when you are eating protein, I feel like you should follow two rules based off the science that I've seen and making this easy so you can put it into your lifestyle. So one is 30 grams of protein per meal. The research says, yep, you want to have at least, don't fall short. I'm a big egg fan. Egg has a lot of leucine in it.
30 grams per
but
meal.
in order to get at least 30 grams, I have to have 5 eggs. And believe me, I've done it. Like I've done it where I've soft-boiled 5 eggs and eaten them after.
Ooh. My internet is going crazy because we have a
Make sure you're
storm.
looking at your amounts. So, and then the second thing is I do believe 1 gram of protein for every pound of body weight that you are is a really good way to approach protein. So, and you combine that with, and it's a really good way to clean up the sugar burner system, and you combine it with some of the different styles of fasting I've taught you, and now you have created a stellar lifestyle for yourself that keeps your brain working well, builds you muscle, helps you lose weight, and improves your skin. And I don't know a human on the planet that doesn't want to do all of that. So this is why I love protein. It is absolutely the hero macro. But let's
The hero macro, protein day, coming in with the protein. All right, you guys, that is a wrap. I hope you guys really got to digest a lot of what was being said here about the different types of diets and, well, not diets, the food systems that you can roll into to help you living your best life, to help you staying fit and in shape and in charge of what is going on inside your body, so it can play a role on the outside of your body. Living healthy, having a metabolic, healthy, internal working system is going to be what really strives and thrives on the outside of your body. So when I keep telling you guys, I want to be here to help you live your best life from the inside out, these are the things I'm talking about. I want you to be able to step into the mirror and be like, wow, look at what I have done to myself, for myself. I look better. I feel better. I'm in the best shape of my life. My skin is clear. My skin looks good. I'm radiant. I'm glowing. Now you're starting to have those little fine lines and wrinkles not be so prominent. Now you got your dark spots or your aging spots on your skin are being replenished and wiped away. You have collagen and elasticity that you haven't had in a long time. I'm telling you, I used to be someone going down the route of doing Botox, and I have not done any of that since I found intermittent fasting in my life, because the intermittent fasting and even longer fasts, like the 48-hour fast or the 36-hour, the 48-hour, the 72-hour fast, those are huge, what I like to call, Pancho, come here. Sorry, my dog. Those are huge benefits for getting your skin back in check, getting your skin into a Pancho, quiet. Pancho, quiet. My dog is like going nuts because somebody left the door open and then a fly came in the house. So, getting your natural Botox and collagen and all of the things that go on from the inside and show themselves on the outside of your body, that is where your 36-hour and your 72-hour really start to shine through. And really, it is literally just not putting food in your mouth and letting your body eat off of what you already have. Now, if you have a problem, an eating disorder, and you've been on recovery on that, I would definitely speak to your doctor about that. If you've had anorexia or any type of eating disorder, this is something you need to speak with a professional about if this is something that is going to benefit or you are even able to do in your process and your journey on getting healthy. But if you guys want to have a full guide and you really don't know much about the intermittent fasting world, but you want to give it a go because you're ready for a change and you're ready to have all these benefits, please do go download the app Simple, Simple. It's on Android and iOS. Go download it today and through the holiday is 60% off if you type in the promo code Forbes60. That's Forbes 60. You get 60% off of your plan. So you can do it weekly, monthly, or get multiple months at a time. It's very inexpensive, and you have a coach with you 24/7 helping you, guiding you. I think it's an AI coach. I'm not quite sure, but it's somebody that's going to be there. You can type in anything you want in the chat, and it is just between you and that person, and you can ask any questions. No question is too dumb, and it keeps you on track, and it tells you hour by hour, play by play, what's going on inside of your body to keep you motivated on keeping yourself healthy and following in that line. So thank you guys so much. Bo, thank you so much for moderating today and helping me out. I do hope to see you guys tomorrow at 1:00 p.m. Eastern time. And if you guys are starting the fast tomorrow, we are going to do the journey to our 36-hour fast. So make sure that you stay tuned on my pages. I will be posting some stuff up later on that. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.